Hello and welcome to Advocate with Albert Abkarian, where we talk to politicians, entertainers, sports personalities, and we bring you some information that might be interesting to you. Today we have with us a person that I've known for over 30 years, a person that knew me when I had hair, a person that knew me when I was 100% lighter, Supervisor in Orange County, Michelle Steele. Welcome, Michelle, to our...
Thank you very much for inviting me today.
Thank you. I appreciate you accepting our invitation. Tell me a little bit about your background. I don't know if I should call you Mrs. Steele or
Michelle.
Or Michelle.
I've been knowing you the way too long.
I've known you for too long. Tell me a little bit about your background so our viewers know where you come from, what you do, what your nationality is, everything.
I'm a first-generation Korean American, and I was born in Korea and raised in Japan. And I came here when I was 19, going to Pepperdine University. So I speak Korean as my first language, and Japanese my second, and English my third. And then, I just always wanted to be a good wife. You've been knowing me, like when I had the first baby and second one, and I was a very good housewife. And I don't know what happened to me now. I'm the elected one at this point.
Your husband became the houseman, and you became the politician.
Exactly.
Your husband is Sean Steele.
Yes.
California Republican National Committee representative.
Right, national committeeman.
And you have two daughters. Their names?
Cheyenne, and who I'm gonna be a grandmother in July. So Cheyenne's pregnant and married to a Navy psychiatrist. So she's gonna have a baby. Wow. And then I have Siobhan, who is going to get married in September. So I have two daughters. You've been knowing them since they were born, right?
Since they were born.
Yeah.
A long, long time ago. You are a supervisor in Orange County. And for the first time in a long time, there was you actually put in the Armenian Genocide resolution as the vice chair of the organization. Tell me a little bit about how that happened and what prompted you to do that, besides knowing me for 30 years and me bugging you for 30 years.
Actually 2015, my term started, and then I wrote an article about that, Armenian genocide. Because a lot of times all these countries, when they did something wrong, then they try to hide them. And they really never, they're always thinking about moving forward, hiding all these bad things, what happened. But you know what, when kids are growing up, like I am first generation Korean American, and you are Armenian American, and our kids half Korean and half whatever are there, they have to know the history. So I wrote an article about Armenian genocide because 1.5 million, 2 million people got killed. So I wrote that, and year after that, from 2016, I said, you know what? We have to recognize Armenian genocide because it was not really well recognized. Especially we have a lot of Armenians living in Orange County, but they are doing their own kind of like Memorial Day, service, but they were never really recognized in the mainstream. So I said, you know what? We really have to learn from the history and move on. So that's why I started. So it's actually on Orange County annual event. So every year we recognize Armenian genocide.
Well, thank you from Armenians in Orange County and LA County. We want to thank you for taking the lead on that. That's very much appreciated. I'm sure the voters that would vote for you eventually will appreciate it as well. Tell me, how does it feel to switch from being a housewife to being a full-on, county supervisor is not a joke. How did you make the transition?
I came here when I was 19, and my mom owned a clothing shop in downtown Los Angeles, and then she got abused by the taxi agency. At that time, they were calling State Board of Equalization. So when that seat opened, and I said, Sean, I think I can do better job than anybody else, and I can help small business owners. That's the way I started, and I ran for that seat. It's 9 million constituents and 1/4 of the California. So I I won, and then I finished the 2 terms of 8 years, and then I returned almost $500 million back to the taxpayers.
Wow.
And then my term was done, and I said, Sean, I think I'm doing much better job working with residents directly, so I think I'm going to run for an Orange County Supervisor. Tell you the truth, I didn't even know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
So Sean said, no, you have to live in the district. I didn't, well, I kind of knew. So we moved down to Orange County in 2011, and I ran in 2014. Is that 14?
Yes.
I believe, yeah. Oh my God, time flies so fast.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So I won. And so, you know what? Last year I won, so 4 elections, all 4 I won so far.
All right. We're going to come back and talk about something else in your future, and I want to talk about that in the second segment. Tell me about what you envision California to be.
Oh my God, I think they're going wrong directions at this point because, Governor just announced that they're going to cover all these illegal immigrants for health care. They have about how many billions of dollars, over $20 billion surplus, but he still wants to raise taxes. You know what? I want my kids to come back. One's still living in Washington, D.C., and it's almost impossible young kids to come back with this high taxes. So something that I think, I hope that voters understand that, forget about Republicans or forget about Democrats, but they really have to think about that who they vote for, that, how they're going to run this state. This state is not really going right directions at this point. So that's the way I think.
And Michelle, both me and you are legal immigrants.
Exactly.
We came to this country, we put in our time, put in our effort, became citizen, so we are both citizens by choice.
Right, exactly.
Not by birth. And accordingly, we both believe that legal immigration should be strengthened. There should be more legal immigrants coming in, and there should be less illegal immigration in this country. And I believe that 100%, regardless of what people believe. Because when you come in here legally, as a legal immigrant, then you respect the laws, respect the information, and then because you respect it for 5 years, you can become citizen.
Exactly.
But when you become illegally, you don't have that respect for the laws, respect for what you need to go through to become citizen. And so we both have gone through it. We both understand it. And sometimes people tell me, why do you say all these things about illegal immigration? And I said, because we came here legally and we
went through it.
We went through it.
Exactly.
We really suffered through it before we came
But
here.
how about those people who are waiting outside of the country?
Yeah.
Almost 4 million people, they try to come in legally. And these people that coming in illegal means that they are cutting the line. So you know what? They are illegal means that they broke the law when they already came in here. So that's the way they started. It's not really good because we have to approve those 4 million people who try to come in legally. We have to approve them first, and then we have to think about illegal immigrants.
I agree with you. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about Michelle Steele's future. Welcome back to Advocate, and we're here today with Supervisor from Orange County, Michelle Steele, discussing what she has done in the past, and now let's discuss what you have in the future. I just heard that you had a major announcement. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
On May 1st, I decided to run for Congress on 48th District. So it's from Seal Beach to all the way down to Laguna Niguel.
Wow, well,
Orange
congratulations. It's a great thing. Tell me all this few of the cities that are in that district.
So most beautiful cities. So Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, and then Laguna Niguel, it's a little bit of inland, and then coming back up to the little inland, so Costa Mesa and Fountain Valley and City of Westminster.
Wow, this is beautiful. They're gonna have, you're gonna have your hands full, but they're gonna get a person who, I've known you again, as I said, for 30 years. And just the intelligence, the approach that you have, the heartfelt feeling that you have for people, this is the reason you're an Orange County Supervisor now, and I'm sure you're gonna be a great Congresswoman at some point in the future. What do you want to change in Congress that your incumbent is not doing right now?
You know what? In politics, especially in Washington, D.C., what you hear is like impeach president, not impeach him. You cannot really do that. So they're really fighting partisan fights. But there are lots of things that has to be done in the county, and it's not just county, but this is all partnership between federal government, state government, and then county and cities. Nothing has been done. So for example, that sand replenishment in Seal Beach, because there's naval weapon station was built, so sand was kind of eroding, so they're actually pushed away, so they supposed replenish every 4 or 5 years. It's been 9th year this year, and they couldn't do it because the federal government has to pay 2/3 of the money, and they are holding off for that. So that's not done. And then how about Newport Beach? We have the, dredging. So it's a harbor, it has to be cleaned out. That's federal government has to work with the local government, then they have to do it. It's not done. And how about the airport? We have John Wayne Airport, Orange County Airport is in my district. And anything tied down is under my responsibility. But when you take off, it's a federal government response. Your federal government is responsible. And people were very much concerned about the noise and environmental issue because black things are coming down. And you know what? Federal government is doing nothing. So I was thinking about that. Actually, I suffered for 5 months. Do I have to run for this seat or not? But you know what? I know local issues that you really have to work together with the federal government. So forget about this partisan fight, but you really have to do the work done. So I want to see all these congressmen and I want to ask them, so what did you really do in your district? Nothing so far. So that's the reason I'm running.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest issues, we hear impeachment and we hear all these other things, and Republicans, Democrats bickering all over the place. And at the end of the day, I say, what have you done for your district?
Exactly.
Plain and simple. If you are a congressman that spends 80% of your time in Congress and you have no idea what's going on in your constituents, you should be immediately replaced. And your salary should be cut to exactly for the amount of, I say, I'm seriously about this. If you spend 80% of your time in Congress and only 20% of your time in your district, then your entire salary should be cut down by 80%, because you represent your district, you don't represent your party, both Democrat and Republican.
Exactly.
I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So we need someone that would bring people together. Enough is enough of this bickering, going back and forth, not moving forward with everything. What do you think about the one thing that you want to accomplish immediately when you get elected? Because when I say when, not if, when, because I know you're going to get elected. So when you get elected, what is the one thing that you want to accomplish right away?
You know what? Actually, I'm going around in my district and meeting all these residents that what you really want from the congressman. You know what? They want us to hear that what their concerns are. It's really interesting because you have a lot of town hall meetings, but people they're talking to the residents, but you never really listen. So that's exactly what I want to do. I want to sit down with them and I really want to hear what their concerns are. But I've been already hearing it, as a supervisor. So exactly that's, I told you that, what, noise issue, environmental issue, sand replenishment, and all these has to be done. And somebody who knows that, how the funding is coming in and how it works. The federal government, that I have very good relationship with all the city, in my district, that all the city mayors and city council members. So I'm gonna sit down with them and I'm gonna just solve one by one and all the local issues.
That's great. you're not the typical Republican. You're not white, male, you're from Orange County, but a Korean American born in Japan, a female who understands all of the issues. We had the Korean Memorial Hill, where there is actually a city council has approved a memorial for
And comfort woman.
Comfort woman,
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
So that's something that we've done here. One thing I know you will do when you get to Congress is to co-sponsor the Armenian Genocide Resolution, which hasn't been passed. You've had the Armenian Assembly, Armenian National Committee, you've had a number of other organizations, Armenian Council of America, a number of other organizations that have been pushing for it for many years. So I want to get a guarantee from you that if nothing else, you would push for it, and if once you get elected, you would co-sponsor that bill yourself.
Albert, you know that Korea was under, Japanese colony, so I totally understand that. And Glendale, city of Glendale got really pushed by Japanese government when you guys built the Comfort Woman. When I actually started that, recognized the Armenian genocide, I got a letter. I cannot go back. I cannot travel to that country who sent the letter to me that, I have to stop all these movements. So you know what? I'm not afraid, because the bottom line is I have a great family. If people don't want me, I'm gonna go home. But you know what? While I'm there or I'm here as a supervisor, I want to do the right thing with the common sense. So I'm gonna do it. Yes, I promise you.
That's great. First of all, you have my full endorsement.
Thank you.
I'm sure the Armenians in Orange County will come and do everything they can to get you elected, and hopefully we can have more of these right before the election, so you can tell me a little bit more about refining about what you actually have seen and talk to people, and talk to not only the Armenian community but the rest of the community and how they actually reacted to you. I wanted to thank you for coming down here. One thing I want to do, though, I think it would be very nice for you to look at your camera and tell the people in Orange County why they should vote for Michelle Steele.
You know what? Michelle understands the residents, and Michelle knows how to talk with the residents. But you know what? Before I saying that, we need all the votes. So you go out and vote, and then your voice become really bigger. I love Armenian community in Orange County because they're smart, they're hardworking business people. But you know what? If you're not involved with politics, it's very tough because you cannot raise your voice. So please go out there, vote, and please make sure that you're going to vote for me. Thank you.
Michelle, thank you very much for coming here today. I'm sure we'll have some more, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to ask Michelle Steele to join us again in the future before the election, and hopefully we'll have some good news after the election when we'll invite her in again as a congresswoman from Orange County. Thank you, and have a nice day.